And away we go. Therapy time. Once again, welcome in, everybody. It's the Aftermath, brought to you by Mio's Pizza, right here on BearcatJournal.com. If you need to drown your sorrows, go see our good friends at Mio's. They'll get you taken care of. Great food, great drinks. Love the pizza. Love the steak hoagies. Ice cold Cincy Light. If you need something a little more aggressive, they have that too, which at this point in time right now, yes, please. I haven't had hard liquor in a while, but sounds delicious. They will get you taken care of. Tell them Bearcat Journal sent you. They will make sure you are good to go. And hey, 6 o'clock next Saturday. Everybody meet at Mio's at about 4. And let's see how much damage we can do in a couple hours before going to the game. Or if, like I heard a lot of people today, they were there at halftime. Mio's was packed at halftime. Shocker. Bearcats fall 63-50. A 13-2 run late in the second half made it look a lot closer than it actually was. West Virginia was up big in the middle of the first half on the back of a 20-5 run. They were up 15 with 5.5, a little over 5 minutes, or just under 6 minutes to go. The defense was, again, really bad in the first half. The offense was also not great. They did the one thing. Let's go ahead and get started, Aaron. Bring it up. If the scouting report was pretty clear, right? Right? Stop Javon Small if you wanted a chance to beat West Virginia. And Javon Small was hot immediately. He had, I believe, 11 points in the first 10 or 11 minutes. He finished the first half with 14 points on 5 of 8 shooting, 3 of 5 from 3. He had 5 assists as well in that stretch. He had a block. He was plus 11 in the first half. They failed to do the one thing they knew they had to do to win this game. It didn't seem to bother them. It seemed to bother everybody that went to Mio's much more than it bothered the Bearcats. And they got their ass kicked. Again, no fight, no life, no toughness, no desire. This is... I'll let you go. I've got some stuff to talk about from in and around the arena today, but I will let you go, Aaron, and then I will chime back in a moment.
The most fight they had all night was Wes in the handshake line as he was fighting with the referees, and then after they got done with the handshake line, it looked like there was a skirmish between a couple walk-ons and Dan Skillings and some of the West Virginia players. That might be the most fight they had the entire game. That all said, they won the rebounding battle.
By 2 against a team that is dreadful on the glass.
They won the rebounding battle and short.
Yeah, they're a bad rebounding team, and Cincinnati made them look competent.
Yeah. Your starters went, 7, 8, 9 of 22, 29, 36, 40. 7 of 40. No, 9 of 40. I'm sorry. 9 of 40. Under 25%.
Not from 3, Aaron.
No. Total. From the field. You shot free throws really well today, though. 11 of 12. And... there's nothing good to say about this game. Dylan Mitchell gets 10 rebounds. That's another stat that looked good.
He did. He did work his butt off on the glass.
Up until about halfway through the second half, you had more turnovers than field goals. The analysts on TV made sure that we knew that. They could not believe what they were seeing. They were struggling to say anything good about this team as well. I don't know what you say about anything. Rayvon looked like he was trying out there.
Give him 36 minutes at this point. You're going to lose. Lose with the guy that cares.
That's about it. Watching this game made me want to throw up. I've never seen a team actually give up in season, even under John Brandon. I never saw a team give up like this. We saw John Brandon walk off and before the game was over against Houston, but I have never seen a team give up like this.
The epitome of everything for me was about 5 minutes into the game, Aaron. There's a loose ball on West Virginia's side of the floor. And Dan Skillings, instead of going after the loose ball 5 feet from him, turns and runs the other way.
He had a rebound where he put one hand on it instead of two, and the other team just took it away from him.
Always.
Like, I don't know if he just forgot that he's actually playing basketball. I don't know what's happening. I'd be okay if he didn't play anymore. I thought sitting him today, and Wes can say what he wants to say because in his post-game presser, it felt like Wes was talking out of both sides of his mouth. He said he didn't.
He's lost. I think he's lost.
Yeah.
He has no answers right now.
What else can you do when you're like, he was literally telling the guys at one point in the second half, come up and play press defense, and they just didn't do it. And the analyst pointed it out to anyone who didn't see it. He's screaming his head off, come up, come up, come up. And they just don't do it. And the analysts could not believe that the players just simply were not doing what the head coach is screaming at them to do.
Yeah.
It
There's
blew
no
my mind.
give a shit. There's no give a shit at all.
But I thought sitting Dan was a good move. I thought it would have a greater effect than it did. I don't know what you do at this point in time.
I don't either. I keep waiting, and I'm done. I'm over it now. They're not showing up. They're not doing the things. I just had somebody ask me to send me a text that said, it's a therapy session, as we labeled it. And they said, is this supposed to make me feel better? We'll get there. We usually we address the real stuff first.
Yeah, you got to vent your frustrations first.
And then we'll have fun in a little bit.
It.
I don't know what else there is to talk through because I just see a team that losing doesn't hurt their pride. Like I hate to always go back to this. West Virginia was on a 3-game losing streak.
Wouldn't know it.
Hurt. Well, their pride was hurt. They came out with fire, intensity. They executed the game plan. They did a great job getting, and some of this is because Cincinnati played dreadful defense for most of the first half. They did what they had to do to get Javon Small open, to get him clean looks. He was several times just wide open, step in 3 for by far the best player on the court. By far, a first-team all-conference guy. Your team knows coming into this game, I guarantee it, was on the scouting report at the absolute top of the scouting report. Stop Javon Small, win the game. You know what Javon Small said after the game, Aaron? I love playing here. This is my favorite arena. Because every time he's come in here in his entire career, he's taken a giant dump on Cincinnati. Every time. ECU, Oklahoma State, now West Virginia. I keep waiting for rock bottom, and they keep saying, hold my beer. We're not even close to rock bottom yet. I talked to a couple NBA scouts that I've known for a long time. One of them I've known for most of my time in this industry. And he was here earlier in the year, getting a look at some guys. And I talked to him in the second half because there was no point in watching really anymore. Like, there wasn't anything that was going to happen that was going to change my analysis or observation of this game, other than, Ray took the minutes that they gave him and played his ass off. But he said it's not even the same team. Whatever is going on internally, it doesn't even look like the same, like it looks like they replaced all of the they found clones of all these dudes and put them out on the floor, but none of them have ever played basketball before. There's no discipline, there's no toughness, there's no attention to detail. They're just out there playing. And I hate when people say this, because 99% of times it's just not true. They're just out there playing a game of like pickup ball in July. There's no consequences. There's no repercussions. And even if there is, here's the problem. Everybody scream at him, yell at him, bench him, do da. For that to work, they have to care. Because if they don't care, that doesn't work. It's just, Wes said it after the game, and I've talked to some people today that said this past couple days of practice was screaming, yelling, hard as he's ever been. Push the button, push. They get out there on Sunday, whatever.
And some of that doesn't matter though if you're not doing it, and if there's no accountability in game. Like, you still have to do that in game. Like, you can't just do that in practice and not. I mean, Wes has talked about it where
Aaron,
you have to.
If they don't care, it doesn't matter when you do it.
Well,
it doesn't matter.
It's
a group that doesn't care right now. It's a group
Largely.
that, quite frankly, has no respect for the name on the front of the chest. That's how they're playing. If they want me to not say that, play like it. You've lost 8 times in Big 12 play. You've lost 8 times. Not once. You had 7 opportunities after a loss to come out and fight like hell and get this shit back on track. And all 7 times, we've sat here and gone, well, they came out and they didn't really look like they had it. They didn't really look like they were up to the fight.
I told you I thought the ceiling on this team was 5 wins. I think that might be high at this point.
How do they get to 5 with the way that this team is playing?
They're lucky. They're lucky they played Colorado early, because Colorado might get their first win against this UC team at this point.
I've never seen a group that just so collectively has been like, it's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal.
I don't care what they're paying these dudes. There's not many people on this roster that I hope to see rocking a C-Paw next season.
Yeah. I blow it up. Whatever. Well, here's the problem. The guys that you probably want to stay aren't going to stay anyway. Why would the guys that care want to be around a group that did this to whatever year of eligibility it is?
GMAX says, I actually feel bad that you guys have to watch each game with your full attention.
Me
so
too.
Here's $20. I will be missing my first UCF-UC in Orlando in over 3 years this week. Not driving 3 hours on a weekday to see this crap. I don't blame you. Thanks, dude.
If anybody else wants to donate to me and Aaron having to watch this crap, thank you. Jeff, we'll worry about Abayev when it's time to worry about Abayev. Like, it doesn't matter right now. Like, that's the farthest thing from my mind. I think the staff went to see him a couple nights ago. this is a kid that stayed loyal to his high school. He's still playing at his high school when every prep school in the country wanted him. He doesn't seem like a kid that is jump ship at the first sign of jumping ship. So I'm not going to worry about whether or not he's going to jump ship until it's time to deal with that. And if you have to deal with that, then you have to deal with that. But there's so many other things on the list to worry about that Sean Abayev is like 243rd down the list.
Oh no.
Dean Smith said, I had to tell somebody I'm a UC fan today. I also think I deserve $20.
Come back to Twitter.
Yeah. I'm dumbfounded. Like it doesn't, Aaron, I'm starting to wonder. Like I haven't felt this bad about a UC team since 06-07. And that was helpless because they had Jamal Warren, Jamal was a good player. Jamal Warren, Marvin Gentry, Marcus Sykes trying to compete in the mother lode Big East. We knew those guys had no chance, but guess what? Those guys still fought their ass off. They didn't come out and just, well, they're on a 25-5 run. Whatever, no biggie. I got reservations at Jeff Ruby's after this. It's a little more important.
Yikes.
Timmy Crowell, John Williamson at center. Marcus Sykes, I think, played some center on that team. Harnell Hall did not play center on that team, if you're wondering. Adam Arichinyuk did not play center on that team. But that's the last time I remember it looking this bad. The product on the floor looking this bad. It looks hapless. It looks helpless. It looks like you're just watching a death march for 40 minutes and just waiting for the clock to tick away so you can do literally anything else. Anything else. Did you see what I said today, Aaron? You know our friend Deanna that's always around?
Yeah.
Yeah. She said, Chad, I'm on a cruise and you are my only way to get updates on the UC basketball game. And I said, Deanna, jumping off that ship is more fun than what I'm going through right now. In the middle of the ocean with nobody to save you. I'd much rather do that than watch the product that they put on the floor today. And I'm not going to let a 13-2 run near the end of the game cloud my judgment into thinking this was a 13-point game. This was a 25-point loss. Any way you slice it. West Virginia was 25 points better than Cincinnati all fucking night.
Yeah.
Ricky, yeah. I'm done, dude. I can't do it anymore, man. I've asked you to stop with the JJ stuff. I'm done. I'm done.
Oh, man.
I can't do it anymore. West Virginia did dog walk them. And guess what? They've been dog walked twice a week for a month, essentially.
Yeah, Wes wanted to get rid of January, but here we are.
It's February.
The
Bearcats saw a shadow today, Aaron. 6 more weeks of shitty basketball.
It's really bad when the people who have been clamoring for Scott Satterfield's job since he took it they're now okay with Scott Satterfield, and they're wanting to reallocate the buyout money for Scott Satterfield on the basketball team.
Bob, and I saw you asked earlier, yes, your NIL money is guaranteed. It is not tied to performance. There is nothing in any contract anywhere that says if you play bad at any level of sport, we're going to take your money away. That doesn't exist. Do any of these players believe there's a future playing elsewhere? I can tell you what. I can tell you I was having a conversation with 4 or 5 NBA scouts in the second half, and there were none of them that we're giving a professional basketball grade to the way anybody looked on this roster today.
If any of these players believe there's a future playing elsewhere, they're the only ones. Maybe their agents who are telling them the same thing.
Here you go, Aaron. This one's all you.
We at one point had 14 turnovers to 12 made shots. Told you. And that was in the second half.
Guys, you got to stop with the Vic Locken stuff. Like, come on. He left on his own accord to go get more money. Stop. I said somebody brought up Jameel Reynolds today. Jameel Reynolds didn't play 1 second of inspired basketball in his entire time here. If they would have brought Jameel Reynolds back, everybody would have been furious in the offseason. Stop it. That's a good one, though.
Who would you take?
Good
2021 one. Rob Banks or 2025 Dan Skillings? I would take 2021 Tari Eason. And apparently that coach didn't care about him either.
I lean Rob Banks right now. Yes, you're wrong. He is. Yeah, I don't care. I don't cover Clemson, so I don't care about Victor Locken anymore.
I don't know.
Again, it falls under the heading of we have many, many, many more things to worry about than how Vic Locken is doing at Clemson.
CJ Frederick is still recovering from an injury, I believe.
Yeah, his back is still bothering him. So I don't care. I don't care what you're talking about, Jeff. I don't care about Vic Locken. I don't care. Good for him. There was there's a million things to go back to, Aaron. The one-handed pass from Arrington Page into a group of 3 West Virginia defenders as a guy is streaking to the basket, clear of the defense for a layup, and instead of being sound with the ball and making a good pass, he just wildly whips it like this. How about what was there, 3, 4 fast breaks? The one where Jizzle threw the ball at Dylan Mitchell's ankles while Dylan was not looking. The Jizzle layup, where instead of going up strong again, like we talked about, I think Russ, our guy from All Bearcats, said it. Does this team think they're at an ice cream shop? As he tried to scoop it up into the layup instead of going strong with the ball to the rim and finishing. They avoided contact probably 10 times. Driving downhill, where instead of driving into somebody's chest, they do what they always do, just fall away and not make a basket instead of converting easy scoring opportunities. I don't even remember. There was a whole segment right after Dan didn't dive on that loose ball and decided to run the other way, where it was like he's never played basketball before. I swear to God, it's like he was better as a freshman when he showed up here, having never really played basketball before.
Is that the same little segment where he also airballed a 3?
Yeah. The 3 on the right side. Yep. No business taking that 3. Yeah. It's hard to it's hard to grasp the way that, things if they would just have continued with the identity that they had through December, they wouldn't be in a terrible spot right now. Like, they wouldn't be good, but they'd have a couple more wins and things would look respectable. But they don't rebound, they don't defend with any consistency. They don't they don't execute basic, simple scouting report. Look at the play at the end of the half, Aaron. A 6th grade level high ball screen at the top of the key. The guy comes off the ball screen, The defender gets caught on the screen. The defender of the screener just stands there. The guy takes 2 dribbles to the right, bangs a 3 right in their face. If you're not going to do simple, basic 4th grade stuff, you have no chance to win in this league. You have no chance.
My goodness.
Yeah.
The problem is, Graybush, if you don't have anybody left.
You have to play. Somebody has to be on the floor. Like, the rule is you have to put 5 guys out there.
There's nobody left.
I mean, I'd play Ray. I'd play Tyler. I mean, the read I get on Tyler Betsy, I'd be starting to get to a point where I'd be pretty surprised if he's back next year. Because why would he? Like, this team sucks, and he's playing 10 minutes a game. Like, I'd play Ray. I'd play Tyler Betsy. You got to play the point guards. I'd play Dylan because Dylan plays hard. I'd play Josh. I play Aziz. Aziz plays hard. He's not perfect, but he plays hard. You're not getting anything out of these guys. They're not giving you. If they can look themselves in the mirror at night and say they're giving their best effort, they're lying. They're lying to themselves. They're lying to people that care about them. They're lying to their agent. Their agents are all pissed right now because their agents know they've just wasted
an entire season
season on guys that aren't going to make any money next year for what they put on tape this year.
Nope.
Is Aziz hurt? I know his back was bothering him, but he seems okay to me. Like, he doesn't seem like it's. I haven't seen him like. Can't wait for show tomorrow. Hi, Ryan. I mean, this is an interesting question, Icy. Thank you for the $5. Realistically, what changes need to happen next year? This will generally be something we discuss more when we get to the offseason and those things start happening. It's a similar team than last year, but somehow so much worse. The only thing on the surface that really changed was John Newman leaving. So it looks like a rudderless ship in terms of internal leadership. It looks like a locker room. Nobody's holding anybody accountable. It looks like a group that doesn't. We'll talk about this with Ryan tomorrow night. This is going to be something that we will talk about with Ryan with a lot. It's a group that doesn't feel like they have each other's backs, right? It's a group that doesn't feel like they're out there swinging together. Like, there are individual guys that are out there swinging, but nobody's collectively in it fighting for the same goal. That's how it feels. And if that's the case, you have to make wholesale changes. Because what you have. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you don't have a vocal leader on this team. Like, I feel like Dylan wants to be that guy, and he can't because it's his first year here. Dan should have been that guy.
Really nice.
He's super nice. Entirely too nice.
To be that guy, Dylan is probably too nice.
But it should have been Dan or Seamoss or one of the guys coming back. And it's just a bunch of dudes who like making TikToks.
Yeah. Never see the team out at the bars. I mean, I don't need to see them out at the bars. But I do need to see them together. Like, you used to see teams going to the women's game together. Now, if you see a player at the women's game, like, you don't see the rest of the crew there with him. You see one guy might be there, like, to watch his girlfriend on the dance team or something, but you don't see anybody else, like, with him. They're all alone or solo. This is not, it's very clearly not a tight group. It's very clearly not a group that is spending a lot of time together, which, look, to an extent, I get it. You're losing. Losing's not fun. You really don't want to be around a bunch of dudes in that situation, but that's how you get through it. That's how you, the brothership is how you drag each other out of the mud and get back on track. And it looks like these guys have just looked at each other and said, I'm good. I'm good. You want to get in the gym tonight? Nah, I have plans. There's something else to do. This is when it shows up. When you don't put in the work, the other teams did. And I see a bunch of teams that look like they put in the work. I see one team halfway through the Big 12 schedule, doesn't look like it's put in the work. What are donors saying? Ask them. There's nobody that's going to say anything right now. I mean, everybody's mad. That's what it amounts to. What are donors saying? They're mad. They're pissed off. The team's playing like shit. It's not fun to watch a game. It feels like work. It should never feel like work to watch your favorite team play. Watching this team play feels like work. Like, shit, I got to do this again. That's one of the reasons I wanted to get into this, right? So that work was fun. So that you enjoyed what you got to do. I'm not having any fun. I'm having a terrible time, actually. Terrible.
That's an interesting question, and I wanted to ask you about that. You've had Wes's right-hand guy go since Wes was hired here. He's no longer with the team. And you lost another coach who had lots of head coach experience this past season and brought in a shot doctor. I can't even believe I'm saying that.
Yeah.
Do you think that they're maybe they're all good recruiters? I don't think you can argue that. It's at least based on the rankings.
The only thing that I will say to that, Aaron, and yes, I know that this has been dreadful. It hasn't been a problem the other 3 years. So I don't think these guys just forgot how to coach. Like, to go back to what Jeff was saying earlier, you want to know why Vic fell off a cliff last year? He got sick. He never really got back to 100%, and he lost his confidence. He developed last year. He was still playing pretty well last year until he got sick right around Christmas, and then his body, just never mentally got back to where he needed to be. So if you want to say he got better at Clemson this year, sure. I mean, but he was pretty bad off for like 2 weeks last year. And he was dealing with, there was a lot going on back home, stuff in Russia, obviously, like Vic's mental side of things wasn't great. And it probably did him good to get into a new situation and kind of reset where he had been for 4 or 5 years. But I don't think we didn't talk about guys regressing in the 3 years leading up to this. David Julius got better. Landers Nolly had probably the best year of his career here. I do think they miss Mike Roberts because I thought Mike Roberts was an exceptional big man coach. An exceptional big man coach. And I also think he was kind of the bad cop to Wes Miller's good cop. I've been thinking about this, the whole Wes needs to get angry and snap and Here's the problem with that, Aaron. It's not who he is. And if you're not being authentic, your team
People
knows
see through it. Yeah, they see
right through it. If all of a sudden you're trying to be Mick Cronin, everybody's going to look at him and go, it's bullshit, dude. I don't buy that. That's not you. That's not who you've been. It's not who you were when you recruited me. It's not who you've ever been at practice. It's not who you've ever been in games. That's not to say he can't get mad and demand more from his players. But if he goes out over his skis, they're going to know that's not authentic. They're going to know that's not who he is. I think Roberts, through his career, gave him the bad guy because Mike would yell at you. And Mike was crazy. Like, Mike would let you know exactly how he felt. He'd get in your face. He was recruited by Bob Knight.
You want the bad guy? I'll show you the bad guy.
And I think that was kind of the yin to Wes's yang in terms of being tough on guys. And, he's not here anymore. And I think it has made an impact. I think they were able to survive it some last year. But I think there's just a situation where these guys they're not responding to hardship, right? Like, it would be like when Kelly died, if I just laid in bed and felt sorry for myself and was depressed, right? Instead, I picked my ass back up. I came down here, sat in this chair, did shows with tears in my eyes. Like, I didn't want to do this shit, but there's an internal toughness that says the job must go on. The show must go on. I'm not that I'm comparing playing basketball to what I went through, but you get like the broader picture of, sure, sometimes shit gets hard. And when it gets hard, it's how you respond to life being difficult, to life challenging you. And these guys have looked the challenge and said, I'm good. And that's
it's
awful.
It's just absolutely mind-blowing to think that you almost need a complete cultural reset in this locker room, much like the football team just went through. And I did not have that on my bingo board for this season.
Here's the thing that's difficult, Guardian K101. I don't think that they were chasing talent. I think it's really difficult to know who's a tough guy, who's gonna fight. Like, you can try to recruit it, you can try to prioritize it, but it's one of those things that until they're in your locker room and until you're dealing with them day to day and you find out and see firsthand how they're dealing with their teammates day to day, it's one of those intangibles that's difficult to recruit, because maybe it works at the high school level and then the guy gets to college and it doesn't click the same way that it did. I get what you're saying, and there's something to it for sure, but I think there's also a level of, they knew they had to up the talent for the Big 12. So maybe there was some, I don't want to say shortcuts, but maybe some corners cut in. We have to get this talent up to a commiserate level of what we're going to face in the conference. And maybe at some point, you maybe lost sight of that toughness, of that grit that you needed in your locker room to survive. That Rashad Bishop, that Titus Rubles, that, Trey Scott, like guys that were going to challenge people and get in their face, say, if you don't do shit the right way, you're going to have a problem with me in the locker room. I don't see anybody in this locker room that is at that, at that point, at that ability to just pin somebody up against the locker like an Eric Hicks and say, get your shit right now. I don't see it.
Sorry, I'm busy monitoring the chat. There's some things going on here.
Guys, grow the fuck up.
It's one person who keeps making new names. That's the issue.
Okay. You banned D. Smith?
I didn't mean to. That's why I apologized.
Okay.
And I only put him in timeout. He'll be able to come back next show. I don't think I can untimeout this show. my apologies on that.
Uh, I, I love Tyler McKinley. Tyler McKinley is one of the nicest humans I've ever met. I don't know if he has that pin you up against the locker like dog in him. He might, but he's a freshman. So again, until you see it, you don't know if guys have that in them.
Yeah. I don't even know how you recruit that. Like that's a tough thing to do. Truthfully, to find somebody who's gritty and not afraid to stick their nose in someone else's face and tell them you're being a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, John Newman was a super nice guy, but John Newman was also going to make sure you were doing your job and he was going to hold you accountable if you weren't.
Because winning was important to him. That's right. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Not the clout.
Not the points. This is, you know what, Aaron? I think you might have just hit on it. And it's one of my core principles of sports and life. You have to hate losing more than you like winning.
Yeah.
Because everybody likes winning. The greats, the guys that take you to the levels that this program expects. Kenyon Martin, Steve Logan, Sean Kilpatrick, Gary Clark, you name it, Nick Van Exel, Corey Blunt, Trey Scott. Those guys hated losing more than they liked winning. And if there was a loss, it was, I'm going to lock myself in the gym until 4:00 in the morning, and I'm going to work on fixing the shit that I was bad at yesterday. And I don't see that from this team. What I see from this team is, we lost again. It's all right. We'll try to get them next time. That's ultimately what it comes down to. That's the simpler way of saying what I've been trying to say for 5 weeks, is that this team just does not hate losing.
You're welcome.
Thank you. You jarred it in my memory. And I always talked to, like, you got to hate losing. Like losing, and I do think Wes hates losing. Like, I don't think it is a Wes problem, but that is not something that is transferable. You don't just get to, like, put your hand on a guy's head and like exorcism it out of him. Like that's just the competitive spirit that you either have or you don't. And I just don't get the sense that these guys go to bed at night and can't sleep because they lost. I get the sense they sleep pretty well. I get the sense they'll sleep pretty well tonight, Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, when that question came up in the post-game presser or something closely thereabouts, it was not answered in a way that I felt comfortable with. It was just kind of like, we're just going through the motions. We're going to try and fix it. Okay.
No, I think he knows. Like, he's saying what I'm saying. We're going through these guys are going through the motions.
It wasn't Wes who answered that question.
It was Seamus.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Okay.
I'm the one that asked him.
I'm just saying I don't know that I'm even seeing anything out of him either. I think he'll sleep just fine.
Yeah. There was no Wes Miller handshake line situation. He was yelling at the ref. I do think something might have, like, guys were jawing a little bit afterwards. But the beginning of where Wes was involved, he was yelling at Terry Oglesby.
It was the backcourt violation, and he just refused to call it.
Yeah.
He was
mad about that travel.
He was mad about that down. He was mad about that going into the timeout. He was mad about it after the timeout. He was mad about it in the handshake line. He was mad about it the entire last 3 minutes of the game.
Bench every starter. What are we losing? Another game. I mean, at this point, look, he changed the starting lineup. He benched Dan to start the game. He benched Dan and Jizzle to start the second half. And it didn't seem to bother either of them all that much, did it? They looked exactly like who they've been, whether they were in the starting lineup or not. that would be typical if Skillings was getting into it with the West Virginia players after the game. That would be the least surprising thing ever. The guy that didn't show any fight all game wants to.
It was him and 2 walk-ons.
Him and 2 West Virginia walk-ons.
No, there were the only play. It was whoever's number 10 for West Virginia was involved. Sincere Harris and one of the centers, the one who had the braids.
Zero Andre.
I believe it was Eduardo Andre. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The NIT, they're gonna have to win. They got 12 wins. You're gonna have to get like 16 or 17 to get into the NIT by the end of the Big 12 tournament. Come on.
I think that there are 11 games left in this season, 10 regular season, 1 tournament game, and that's all she wrote, folks. Put this entire season, take this entire season out back old Yeller style.
The good news is they'll also be playing one of the worst teams in the league in the first round of the Big 12 tournament, who probably also quit on their season many, many weeks ago.
I guess somebody's got to win.
Oh, boy. Go over the stats. We still have to do a nightcap after this.
That's where I was at. All right. Well, we'll do what I didn't even know anybody had double digits, truthfully, until just now.
One. Day, who was 4 of 15 from the floor.
4 of 14, but
4 of 14,
who's counting? 10 points, 4 of 14 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, 1 offensive, 3 defensive, 4 total rebounds, 2 assists, a foul, 3 turnovers, 4 steals. So I guess +1 in the turnover battle. 31 minutes -2. He does get the start over Dan Skillings because he earned it. Dan didn't get benched or something.
Yeah.
Anything you have to say about Day? That's a lot of shots for Day.
At the 14:25 mark in the first half, so 5 minutes and 35 seconds into the game, Day Thomas had hit 2 threes and scored 6 points. And then you had what he did the rest of the game. Yeah.
I also don't think it really matters who's starting in these games if you're subbing everybody or making substitutions at 4 minutes into the game. So
Matt's getting ready, Aaron.
Next, Simas Lukosius, 8 points, 1 of 7, 1 of 4 from 3.
Trash. Garbage.
5 of 6 from the line, the free throw line. 1 offensive, 2 defensive rebounds. That might actually be his season high. 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, 25 minutes played, -16. Woof.
Wolf is putting it very mildly.
Rayvon Griffith, 7 points, 2 of 3 from the field, 1 for 1 with a nice stroke from the corner from 3, 2 for 2 at the line. He did everything asked of him. 1 rebound, defensive, 2 assists, 2 fouls, 12 minutes played, +2, led all Bearcats.
He was +2. Josh Reed was +1. That was in 31 minutes between the two of them. Everyone else was negative.
Josh Reed, 6 points, 1 of 2 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3, 4 for 4 from the line, which meant he was trying to get to the hoop. And that's something that we couldn't say about Josh a month ago. 1 offensive rebound, 2 defensive rebounds, 3 total rebounds, 1 assist, no fouls, a turnover, 19 minutes +1.
Here's the thing about Josh, and we'll probably say this till the end of time. He's never going to make a play that makes you say, wow. Like, He's not a super bouncy athlete. He doesn't have a lot of foot speed, like up and down the floor. He does move well laterally, which is what part of what makes him a good defender. But you're never going to question what the fuck was he doing. He's going to be in the right spot. He's going in terms of effort and like you might.
Thanks for
Aaron. In terms of the coachable things, right? In terms of what the coach is asking him to do on the floor, Josh is always going to do what is being asked of him. You can't say that for a large number of dudes on this team.
All right, 6 points for Dylan Mitchell, 3 of 7 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3, 2 offensive, 8 defensive, giving him 10 boards on the day, 3 assists, 2 fouls, a turnover, 32 minutes played, -4. He's an effort, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he 10 rebounds, 2 offensive, 8 defensive, 3 assists. Like, you put him out there, he works for you. I feel bad for him.
Terrible.
Like, that guy is busting his ass, and everybody else around him is just kind of standing there watching him, and that's disrespectful.
That's why he's getting more minutes than literally anybody on the team every game.
Yeah, Jeff is exactly right. He's accountable. Most of these other guys, they have an accountant. I don't think that means they're accountable.
That's not the same.
See what I
5 points.
There.
5 points for Tyler Betsy. 2 of 3 from the field, 1 of 2 behind the arc. 1 block. That's a nice block.
It was
10 minutes, -11.
Unfortunately, this is the unfortunate thing, Aaron. Mitchell, Josh, Ray, and who were we just talking about?
Dylan.
Tyler. Dylan, yeah. Tyler, Josh, and Ray all essentially play the same position. Like, if I could play the 4 of those guys together, at least I would feel great about the effort and the give a fuck. Like, we wouldn't be here questioning a lot of the things that we're questioning right now if it was feasible to play those 4 functionally together. But it's not, unfortunately. I think they did for a minute tonight. I think they had 4 like combo forwards on the floor together because they had Aziz out. They had Dylan playing the 5.
Dylan was at the 5.
Tyler was in. I think Tyler was in, Ray was in, and Josh was in with Dylan.
That's the all-effort lineup for your Cincinnati Bearcats.
You know they're going to care. And at this point, forget trying to win games. They're not close to winning games.
We're talking about winning games. We're talking about winning games. Games?
We can't even practice. Win a game. Win a game. We can't even practice.
All right, who's next? After 5, it looks like 2 points for Aziz, 1 of 4 from the floor, 1 offensive, 3 defensive rebounds, 4 total rebounds, 3 fouls, a turnover, a steal, 18 minutes, -9.
I mean, I feel bad for Aziz too. Aziz tries his ass off. He's being asked to do a lot of things that he just doesn't have in his skill set.
I wish he rebounded more, but if his back is messed up again, that's all bad.
Yeah, it was.
Right.
You make a good point, Bearcat. Bearcats won. Aziz only played 18 minutes, and AP only played 4. And Dylan played 18 minutes at the 5 today. Now you can do that. West Virginia's small. Well, no pun intended. West Virginia doesn't have a lot of height, so you could play Dylan more at the 5 against them than you can a lot of the other teams in the league. But yeah.
Jizzle James, 0 points, 0 for 8 from the field, 0 for 1. His only 3. 1 defensive rebound, 1 assist, 1 foul, 3 turnovers, a steal, 18 minutes played, minus 17.
Whoa. I'll be right back.
And lastly, Arlington Page, 0 points, no shots, 1 offensive rebound. That was his only rebound. 2 turnovers, 4 minutes played, minus 4. So when you talk about Arlington Page not getting those minutes at center, and Dylan Mitchell getting those minutes at center, he had 2 turnovers in 4 minutes.
And one with as bad a turnover as you'll ever see.
He does not. Truthfully, if he's taking more than 2 or 3 dribbles, he needs to look to pass immediately. Why are you dribbling 16 times?
I remember the other one, Aaron. I remember the other turnover. They threw it to him on the block. He catches it. He's got the guy kind of squared up on his back, and the guard digs down, and he starts dribbling, okay? He starts dribbling.
What are you talking about?
The guard, I'm talking, the first one was the one he just did one of these in the middle of the lane.
I was bringing up, he does not need to take more than 2 or 3 dribbles, period, end dot.
And then it's like he just assumed that guard that was digging down on him was just going to go away and leave him alone. And then he started dribbling again towards the center, and the dude just came to like, what are you doing, you dumbass? He showed you that he was going to take the ball from you the second that you tried to go middle because they had him scouted. And he just dribbled right into what West Virginia was trying to take away from him.
Correct. Ugh. So I'm okay with Dylan Mitchell getting those minutes at the 5.
Yeah. I think I was sitting next to Keegan. I think Keegan said Ray had the ball on the wing at that point, and Keegan was like, I thought that was going up no matter what. And then Ray threw it to AP, and I was like, it ain't coming back out now. It is certainly Ray didn't, or AP didn't come here to pass, Aaron.
Bearcats shoot 31.5 from the floor. Somehow it got all the way up to 31. I have no idea how. They also shot 31.3% from 3. So those numbers match. Hooray. But 91.7.
They were in the 20s. Like they're usually in the 20s from 3 at home. So I'll take 5 of 16.
91.7 from the free throw line. Points per possession, 0.806. Layups, 5 of 19.
But that's, Aaron, that is, again, when you can't make a shot. They just put everybody in the paint. How many times did you see a UC guy drive downhill and there's like 3 West Virginia defenders just waiting for them to jump into their arms and block the shot?
I saw
happened over and over and over.
I saw a volleyball spike today.
Mm-hmm. That's what happens when you can load the box and have no fear of a team shooting over you. No fear at a team shooting over you. Don't look at the Ken Pom offensive rating on an empty stomach. Is it worse than TCU yet?
That's the bar.
Last I checked, TCU was in the 170s in offense. 169, almost there. TCU's 180. So still, and Oklahoma State's 168, Aaron. This is going to be a close race over the next 10 games. Who's going to have the worst offense in the Big 12?
Cincinnati's been dropping like a rock. There is no shot any team in the Big 12 finishes under Cincinnati.
In conference play, they are, oh, wow. Yeah, in conference play, they're last in offensive efficiency by a pretty wide margin. Pretty wide margin. TCU offensive efficiency in conference only is at 99.3 points per 100 possession. They are 10th. Cincinnati in conference play is at 91.6 points per possession. Last. Effective field goal percentage. Last. Offensive rebounding percentage. Second to last. Free throw rate. Second to last. 3-point percentage. Last. Actually, I'm wrong. Free throw rate is also last. 14th in 2-point percentage. 14th in free throw percentage. 12th in tempo. The only thing they're good at, you know what the only thing they're good at offensively, Aaron? They don't turn it over a ton. They're 8th in turnover percentage.
Well, they are 15th by record.
It's
ugly.
It's dreadful. Dreadful. They were in the 40s after the Dayton game. Yeah. Yeah. 18-3 to the under this year. Unfortunately, life's too short to bet the under. There's nothing fun about life betting the under, unless you just want to bet the under in UC games and make a shit ton of money. And there was a point in that game, it looked like over would be like pretty simple. I mean, what you hold, here's the fun stat of the night, Aaron. You hold West Virginia to 23 points in the second half. And you only made up 2 points off the halftime deficit. And you needed a 13-2 run
to do something
when West Virginia was literally just trying to dribble out the clock. Literally just, let's get out of here.
There was one they did dribble out the clock.
Right.
there was one possession they did dribble out the clock.
Yeah. There was a big guy with the ball at the 3-point line, still dribbling.
Yep.
Not even looking at the rim. He was looking away from the rim.
Didn't care.
Oh.
You got anything else left?
No.
When do we start to feel good from this therapy session? Where was that part?
We didn't have a lot of fun tonight. The problem was today was like the straw that broke the camel's back for me.
I've been checked out for about 5 games.
Yeah, I continue to err on the side of at some point in time this team's going to show some fight. And now I am done with that. I am not making that mistake again. I am now with you, Aaron. 3-17, maybe 4-16 just on accident. But we are only halfway done, Aaron. 2-8, 10 games into conference play. We have 10 more to go. Utah was trying to lose. Yeah. Jeff, you stayed till the bitter end of this podcast. You didn't get here until
he went to the game.
He went to the game. Yeah, I stayed until the bitter end too. It's work for me. You were there with your family. I don't know what the hell's wrong with you.
Yeah. All right.
That's going to wrap it up. Appreciate everybody for being here after another tough to swallow defeat. West Virginia 63, Cincinnati 50. That's the aftermath, brought to you by Mios, live from the Cincy Light Studios, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya.